Lances and Wings Episode 40. Pola asks Beata for a favor. The king and his fellow travelers arrived at the capital of Polythia, Abrona. The mood was festive. The news had arrived that the Kingdom of White had outlawed slavery. Merchants were happy that they now could trade without moral issues. In Polythia slavery was viewed as hideous. That view was also prevalent in Ukras and the Ice Kingdom. The merchants that had been dealing with the Kingdom of White had started to get boycotted. They could deal with one relatively small and not so wealthy country or three, each being many times the size and being much wealthier. Now it would open up new markets. The news that the colonel of the Anarchy had adopted a 7-year-old girl reached the country. When the circumstances of how he adopted her came to be known, John was already considered a hero because of his military service, but now he was even more popular. His adoption of Pola showed he had a heart. They went to the palace. Gazmo gave orders for rooms to be made for Pola and John. Anna smiled brightly at the news that there would be another little girl staying at the palace. She thought that the presence of children made the palace seem more like a home. Her children were grown. She also missed the time when they were young. The palace was full of people. There were many women there seeking John's attention. He was a war hero, the colonel of the Anarchy. Now with an adopted daughter, he was considered a catch, and they wanted to get at him through the idea of taking care of his daughter. Pola saw that her new daddy was stressed. She went to Beata and asked, "Why do they keep bothering daddy?" Beata smiled and said, "They all want to be your new mommy." Pola said, "I wish they would go away." Beata told her, "Me too. But short of him already having a girlfriend, they will not." Pola asked, "Will you do me a favor?" Beata asked, "What is it, dear?" She smiled and said, "I will tell you in a minute." Then Pola left and went and found Irina. Then she came back. She told Beata, "Come do me a favor." She grabbed Beata's hand and brought her to the center of the grand hall where the reception was going on. There Beata saw Irina lead and John by the hand to them. When they got there, Irina giggled and said, "We know how to keep the women away from Uncle John. As princess, I command you, Uncle John, to kiss Beata." John looked at Beata and asked, "Do you mind?" She shook her head, and John wrapped his arms around her and picked her up, kissing her very gently. Beata wrapped her arms around John's neck. When the kiss was over, he put her down. As he was setting her down, she told him, "Hold my hand. Make them believe you like me. It will help keep them away." They acted like a couple for the rest of the night. Their ruse worked. The women all figured they were a couple. Many thought that they had been, especially when it was known that she had been there when Pola was rescued. Not only had she been there, she had been a big part of the rescue. They figured they had done it as a couple. They almost instantly were now considered a romantic couple. That together had rescued a girl, and now we're going to raise her. Now the big question in people's minds is when the wedding will be. That night went by quickly. Pola had been given gifts. John slowly started to settle into his new life as a father. Living in the palace quickly seemed normal to him. He was living with his good friend and his wife, a woman he also considered a good friend. He adapted to being a father quickly. Pola, although a year older, tended to follow Irina's lead. Since Irina was so well behaved, Pola was. Irina even taught Pola table manners and etiquette. The little girls quickly became close. However, the relationship between John and Beata was strained. Both wanted more than friendship. Both were unsure if the other wanted to be more than friends. Both were afraid to show too much affection for the other. They were afraid to ruin the friendship they had. They liked to be around each other. One night Gazmo lay with Selena. He asked, "So what do you think about John and Beata?" She smiled and answered, "I think they are falling for each other, and we should keep our noses out of it." He asked, "You don't think we should try to bring them together?" She replied, "No, it never works to interfere. If they are right for each other, they will get together." Anything we did would probably do the opposite. Gizmo nodded in agreement. Yes, John is not one that takes being forced to do something well. Then added, so we do nothing. Selena smiled and said, we make love often. Enjoy being married. Make them want what we have. Gizmo smiled and kissed his wife passionately. Anna liked how things were. The little princess and her new friend were well behaved. John was a good father. He was always happy to see his new adopted daughter. The king and queen were happy. Beata the nanny treated the princess and Pola like they were her children. The palace felt warm and homely, especially when it was filled with the laughter of the children. She was getting ready for the princess's birthday party. This would be her first birthday party ever. She was determined to make it one the princess to remember. Now there was a new thing causing her pressure, the guest list. Since it included Selena's adopted mother, she had voted Katrina's sister Queen Natasha. Then Selena invited King Vadzim and Queen Alina of the Kingdom of White. She thought that it was a good idea to invite King Nicholas and Queen Catherine of the Ice Kingdom. She was sure that they would not come. They never left their palace. Now she had gotten a letter from them that they accepted the invitation. The leaders of all the nations would be there. This could end up being a great diplomatic breakthrough. If all the leaders could talk, maybe cooperation between the nations would improve.